All right, we're going to go ahead and start the meeting. Um, I see that we have a couple of new people, so maybe we can do a round of introductions. I'll start uh, since I suggested it. My name's Linda Lee, pediatric surgeon at Mount Sinai and Valley Hospital. I started this OR sustainability subcommittee, things like 2023. Due to what I think is a need for an awareness of surgeons um, to realize their impact and their responsibility um, in the environmental impact that their practice has and what we can do to help mitigate with that. And yeah, that's me. Let's see. Ken, got you next.
Sure. Ken Gao, I'm in Stony Brook on Long Island. And who do I want to pass it to? Is Joanne on 909?
Yeah, that's Joanne.
Still on mute, Joanne. Maybe she's busy. I'll pass it to Morgan.
Hi, I'm Morgan. I'm one of the general surgery residents at LSU in New Orleans. I just finished up 2 years of research at UAB, so I'm excited to be here.
And then Meredith.
Doing? I'm Meredith Baker. I'm a pediatric surgeon in Portland, Maine. And I started the Greening the OR committee here at Maine Medical Center, and I've had really great buy-in from the administration, which is sort of the opposite of my experience with any other adventure that I've ever been on in my life. Just sort of looking for networking now and seeing what other people are doing. I also feel like I could be a pet project playground for anyone that has like pilot programs in mind. Um, yeah, happy to be here and happy to meet those of you who I haven't met before.
Very cool.
Linda, I think you have to unmute Joanne.
Okay. No. Here we go. When I click on ask to
There
unmute,
you go.
there. Okay. Hi, Joanne. Do you mind
Hi,
just
can you
introducing
guys
yourself?
hear me? Can you
Yes, now
hear
we
me
can hear
okay?
you.
Okay, great. Yeah, this is Joanne Berg. I am a pediatric surgeon involved in advocacy health policy. I work at Texas Tech University of Sciences in El Paso, Texas. And I will mute again now.
Okay. Very cool. I always kind of feel like the meeting after APSA is like the restart of a new year, kind of. So, and because, we often have a lot of new people coming in, I also got a number of people saying that, they are retiring or they're moving on or whatnot. So, maybe also because May just kind of coincides with June and people wrapping up their whatever part of life they're in. So today I wanted today to kind of be like a program reset for us and sort of like an agenda building um, meeting to like kind of determine where we're at and where we're going, like what future projects we would like to undertake for the next year. Um, Hi, Richard. Glad you're joining us. We have a couple of new people on, so
Hi
I did
guys.
start with a group of round of introduction. Do you mind just saying hello and introducing yourself?
Me, but Linda, you know me, and
I
Ken, you
know, but
know
I
me.
just there are
Okay,
new
yes, for the others.
people.
Yes, that's correct. I'm Richard Glick, and I'm not so far away from Ken, both spiritually and geographically. I, I'm at Cohen Children's on the border between Nassau County and Queens in New York. And nice to meet who's ever new here. Who's new, Meredith?
Meredith?
Yes, hi, I'm new. I'm Meredith Baker. I'm a pediatric surgeon in Portland, Maine, and I am new to this group. So thank you for having me.
Oh, fantastic. I love Portland, Maine. Do you know Chase Boyd?
I
He's
do.
chief of anesthesia.
So yeah, Chase and I actually started the Greening the OR committee here at Maine Medical Center together. So yes, I know him very well. I
I'm
talk to
going to
him
text him
every
tonight.
day.
We trained together at Cornell back in the day.
Oh, what are the chances? Cool.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
And Morgan Brown's also new. She's a resident going back into clinical, sounds like, from 2 years of research. Very fast-moving individual,
Where's
I
Morgan a
can say.
resident?
Morgan, I
I
think.
am a resident at LSU in New Orleans.
Oh, beautiful. Very nice.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
All right. So, just to maybe we could just start by wrapping up where we were from APSA 2026, and then I've got a couple of other things just to hit on quickly. And then, like I said, I'd like to spend some time, with this meeting to talk about what we would like to do for the next year, where we want the subcommittee to go, or what we want to focus on. Okay. All right. So the first item of business, sorry, guys, I didn't send out a tentative agenda like I normally do because I honestly thought about it about like put it all down into words about 30 minutes ago. So sorry. Um, First of all, follow up from APSA 2026. We had a couple of things that we did there. We weren't in the programming this year, unfortunately, but we had a couple of areas of visibility. We had Sarah who helped with posting like sustainability things around to help with like recycling, composting. Actually, they didn't compost, but recycling um, and whatnot. We also did a scavenger hunt, which honestly we got very few submissions from. So sorry guys, it didn't really work out as we had intentionally planned. There were really only two unique submissions, and that would be me and Marion Henry. So I did not award the raffle prize, which the raffle prize was a 1 year free subscription to not a textbook. I mean, $100 like value. I mean, that was a really good, but anyways, I wasn't going to award it to myself, and sorry, Marion. Figured I was hoping for more participation. So then there was a post-meeting survey that we sent out. I think it just had two questions. I didn't hear anything back from that, and I don't see Colleen on. Um, we should follow up with that. I don't know if you guys saw it on your
I
post-meeting
think
survey.
Colleen may be sort of on the tail end of a vacation time. I
Yeah,
think
I
so.
know. A lot of people were like literally coming back today, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's okay. Um, so we'll have to follow up on the post-meeting survey. It basically asked, did you guys see it? No, okay. I think it basically asks like, what sustainability things did you see and what sustainability things do you think would be important to focus on? Like very general questions like that, just two. Okay, and then Ramin last time for APSA 2026 was trying to pull up a cleanup project, which we actually didn't get off the ground. Um, Partly because they had a clean um like the Chicago River like literally the same weekend. And yeah, it was kind of like, well, and then we were like thinking we could jump onto that, but it was on the Saturday morning where all of the breakout sessions were at. So it wasn't like a good time for attendees either. But we did talk about doing a cleanup project for APSA 2027 in San Diego, maybe like cleaning up the beach or something like that. We can table that and see if Ramin wants to bring that on. I think the main thing we learned from this year is that we need to start talking about that earlier so we could get that into the programming and into the agenda so we can find a time slot to get that done. All right. Next item of business I have is manuscripts. So there's one active manuscript that I know going on right now. That's the one Colleen and I have been working on along with Ken and Rich. I think you've been helping us too with the editing. Thank you very much. Is the site selection rubric. We had created, for those of you guys who don't know, like we had created a site selection rubric, which actually the APSA board used to help select a site for the next like 3 years down the line. Um, and we wrote that up with a plan to submit for publication. We submitted it to JAMA, which was like a pie in the sky. It was like a really brief 800 word. It was like really short, condensed version of it, sent to JAMA. It got rejected promptly. So we're planning to send it. It Colleen was thinking nature sustainability is an open access journal, but it needs funds. We do have a couple of other targets, so we need to get back on that and look for our next target to send it out to.
I think that she said that, which is like insane to me, that our institution may have the funds to do that. I thought that's where she was with that. So
Oh,
I can
okay. She
ask her.
was
Yeah, which would be good.
That would be fantastic. She was
Yeah.
asking me, she was asking Ken and Win to see if we had funds in our institution. Unfortunately, I don't.
I think just before her vacation, she may have pseudo secured funds. So
Oh, that
let
would be
me,
great.
yeah, we'll go
Okay.
back. Yeah, that could have happened. So I'll discuss that with her.
Thank you. Thank you for that update.
And that was for APSA selecting the next three like sites for the conference, is what you're saying?
Well, we put together a rubric that it was generic. It could apply to any institution that's looking for a site to hold a meeting if
Gotcha.
they wanted to consider certain sustainability factors. The biggest
Cool.
one that we learned from APSA was travel.
Mhm.
So, like a half of the manuscript is all about how can you figure out which is geographically the best location based on your community of attendees, how to make that evaluation calculation. It's really cool.
Cool. That makes sense.
Yeah, then the rest of it is about like how sustainable is the city, how sustainable is the venue, the travel, blah, blah, like, like things that you'd be like, oh, yeah, 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 that makes sense.
Yeah.
But like the travel part I thought was really cool that Colleen put together. So,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Good. Thank you, Richard, for that update.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, Meredith and Morgan, because at first, like Linda was saying, it was, oh, it's about APSA. It's not about APSA, it's about any
Any conference.
mhm. And it's kind of cool in that you don't want to be in Memphis, Tennessee every single year if that's the best sustainability geographically. So it includes population areas, etc. It's neat. We'll send it to you at some point if we're going to have it.
Yeah, cool. If Colleen is a trainee, she could also consider the ASC, like American Surge.
Colleen is very not a trainee.
Oh, okay. Then never mind. She may not be interested in
But we
that.
have a trainee on it, so we
Yeah,
could,
cool.
yeah. Wynn's a
That's a
trainee.
good conference with like a really broad audience.
We had submitted it to APSA, the whole thing, but it didn't get accepted this year. So actually, that might be a good idea. All right. Um, all right. Then the next item of business I have is the podcast, which Joanne and I and Colleen are on. It's a separate subcommittee, and it's part of the advocacy committee. And we created a podcast. There are now 2 episodes out. If you guys don't know of the podcast, I encourage you to subscribe and listen to it. It's called Operation Advocacy. And like I said, there's 2 episodes on there. The first one was about why pediatric surgeons need to advocate, and it was featuring our past president. And this next one just came out fresh off the press, is about Medicare, and really, really interesting talk. Well, there's Joanne's got the next couple, and then it's us. So Colleen and I are working on that. I think we're going to meet on Monday, next Monday, to talk about um, potential people we want to interview. She had suggested 3 people. All of them sound fantastic. I don't know any of them. But I looked them up and looked up videos of them giving talks and stuff like that, and they're all really well-spoken individuals. One of them, his name is John Bolas or something like that. He was a past Health and Human Services um, like vice. What was he? Let me see. Sorry, guys. Let me just click over here. John Balbus, and he was like a past Health and Human Services Assistant Secretary for Climate Change and Health. And then another was a woman named Lisa Patel, who was she was with, let's see, she was a presidential management fellow with the EPA, and she was or currently is the executive director for the Medical Society Consortium on Climate and Health. Then we do have one more who was a younger person. I don't have that person's name up, I'm sorry. But we had three people, and we're gonna talk about that. Okay. If anyone's interested in working on podcast, because we're going to have this episode, but then as the cycle turns around, our subcommittee will be up again for another podcast, and there's opportunities. Anybody here with podcasting experience? Morgan? No? Meredith? No? Okay.
No podcasting experience, but in terms of suggestions, I would suggest Mahul Raval and Gwyneth Sullivan as
Yeah.
people to talk to. Although Gwyneth is starting her fellowship, I think, this fall, so I don't know if that's a good time for her.
Yeah, we were for this one, we were thinking about starting with um people who are non-surgeons.
I see.
Yeah. But I think those two people that you suggested are fantastic, and they would have a lot of like boots on the ground sort of experience for someone trying to get a project going for sure. Yeah. All right, well, we can think about that for our next time around. And we did talk about interviewing them as well. But I think as a subcommittee that thought we would try to branch out and have people who are not pediatric surgeons.
Got it.
Yeah. All right. Okay, that's the podcast. Then articles of interest. That's our next topic that I have here. We did an article of interest submission with Morgan. It was amazing. Wrote that up lickety split. And thank you for being so open to all of our criticisms and edits. But we were thinking about doing one when they asked us to do an article of interest submission on PFAS. I don't know if I don't think that actually got submitted. I think Colleen would know, but anyways, that's another one of these things that kind of comes around, and they've asked us already before what we wanted to submit for article submission. So if it comes around, one of the recent ones that we were talking about was PFAS. I don't know if you guys heard about this study. It was from the team, was it the team lab study or something like that with bariatric surgery and obesity, and they were finding PFAS in their specimens. And yeah, it's just really interesting about how it is everywhere. So anyways, okay. And then the next item I have is the advocacy watch for APSA. That's really Joanne, or sorry, Colleen. I think it's Colleen who's doing the advocacy watch.
You're talking about the legislative subcommittee?
Yeah. Is that Colleen? Or sorry, Ken, is that yours?
Colleen's on there, yeah.
Okay.
Colleen. Yeah, Colleen.
Yeah. Um, from what I understand, again, it's a little bit like the articles of interest where they're going to be asking us for um, things that are coming out in bills or whatnot that are coming out that would be of interest to the pediatric surgery community, and trying to arrange a way for people who are pediatric surgeons who may engage, have a way to engage in a topic that's concerning or interesting to them. I haven't heard a call for anything. I really don't know like what the mechanism would be if something came up that was, like a bill or something going forward. Do you guys know anything about about that?
Yeah, the way you basically work it is that if you see something that is of interest, then it gets forwarded to the kind of core group that's looking at the legislation. And the usual thing that we're doing now is the board has accepted to have two topics per month. So every other week, something would go out in the 2-minute turnover, and it has to be okayed and blessed by the board each time. So we're trying to do this on a cadence where we meet before the board meeting, so we come up with what we're wanting to push forward, and then it gets discussed at the board meeting, usually gets passed, and then it gets loaded up. I think I think this week we'll see the first one. I can't remember if last week we saw the first one, but it should be last week or this week as the first go around.
Okay.
And so if there's a bill, which I suspect in the next 2 years, there are probably going to be a limited number of bills on sustainability, but if you see something, then it gets forwarded and it gets promoted.
I see things a lot from New Jersey, but I don't know if they're interested in like a state level sort of thing.
Well, I mean, we are a national organization, so the concept of getting people from a state is certainly on board. I mean, if there's something that you need to get others from New Jersey and on board to contact the state representatives, and that's definitely part of the deal.
Well, if it is, then I think I'll forward something tonight. It's the Make the Polluters Pay Super Fund. Just saw it in my email box that that's coming up and getting like the last push over. I don't know. I feel like they always say they're getting the last push over, and then I don't know. I don't know what happens.
What's the Superfund fund?
So it's a bill in New Jersey where they're trying to make I think it's like DuPont and all these other like sort of petroleum companies pay to clean up the environmental pollution that their refineries or whatever have created. And it had been going with some steam for like the prior year or so, and then it just stopped.
Hmm.
And they started building up momentum again for it. And there was just an email out that said about how it's like kind of on the verge, like call your legislature and, push that we should um, actually get this passed. I think it's joining, I think California has this, and New Jersey would be like one of the states that are joining, um, like California, who makes these large companies pay to help clean up the pollution that they create.
No, it's a great idea. I mean, if off the top of my head, I could probably tell you how many people are from New Jersey, but if you rally enough people and they can get some of their representatives, I don't know how close they are to push things over. Do you have it? Is the New Jersey Democratic or is it Republican?
New Jersey is Democratic.
Okay, so you got a shot. It's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Okay. All right. And so I guess for everyone else in the subcommittee, if you guys are seeing something, so for me, the reason why I have any of these notifications is because I joined the AAP um, committee on like climate and environmental health, and I get a lot of emails from that. It's the state level. chapter. So if you guys are interested in that, that's what I would recommend is to join the AAP and then go to your state level. Wow, that's where you get the information. Um, but yeah, okay. All right, last item for all these like little things that we're contributing to or working on. But the last item that I have is this ACS Sustain Committee. And now Colleen had emailed us about that. Ken, yeah, I think she just had the three of us on that email, and they were looking for a representative. Um,
For which?
the American College of Surgeons Sustain Committee that they were starting,
Great.
and they were looking for a representative from APSA to as a liaison, I think. Well, let's table that issue because Colleen's not here. She was the one who was bringing it up, and I don't know anything more than that, exactly what I have said. And I don't know if she's looking for to be the representative or if she's looking for somebody else from within this group. We have a lot of, people who probably would be interested. But anyways, I think we'll talk about that next time. Okay. All right. Halfway in. New business. So this is where I was hoping to leave it open. I know we went through a lot of items, but like a lot of it is old news and ongoing news. But we do have room to bring in new ideas, new projects for, since we have new people and something that might be inspiring or interesting to you guys. I'm happy to talk about it and bring it up and see what we can put together. Some of the things that the people have brought up before have been research projects. Um, there's one that's, I didn't even talk about it here, but there's one that's like a survey on parental attitudes that has been brought up to the subcommittee to work on. Other things that people have brought up are like projects at APSA, like we talked about that. Sarah King did one of them and or did actually both scavenger hunt and the other one. There have been plans for like breakout sessions and tech talks. So and one of the things that I really wanted to push like last year was trying to do more advocacy within this group. So that was when I joined the state level AAP and tried to like, do more of a emailing or calling my representatives to talk to them about certain, bills that may be going through. There was one about like truck pollution and then the super fund that was coming up and then died and then came up again. So yeah. Meredith, you're talking about like you're doing the project greening the OR. I was going to say
Yeah.
Project Green Health, but I didn't want to put words in your mouth.
Well, we use that as like sort of a rubric to start with. But yeah, this is interesting hearing you talk so much about advocacy because that's not something I mean I hear about and I think about a little bit, but mine on my day to day, I'm thinking more about like who's doing robotic recycling and how. And kind of boots on the ground. But I should get more involved with advocacy. And I just looked up the email Ken said. I do think it got sent out last week and gonna click all the buttons that it says to click. Thanks for bringing it up.
We should connect you with because Mehul and Ramin are the two I feel like in this group who have done that I know of. I mean, people probably have done it too, but like they haven't said brought it in this, talked about it. But oh, Alfred, he also does it too. Like really like everything from very organized sort of recycling to like I literally collect it myself and
Yeah.
take the bags myself to a recycling center or connect it with what is that plastic recyclings um thing that Trex that
Mhm.
Ramin was trying to do to get them
Yeah.
to reprocess the plastic into
Well,
where you
that's where it gets interesting beyond just kind of I guess beyond advocacy, which is still interesting, very much so, but is like how do you scale it? And then that's where I think sort of my interest in coming to this committee and to APSA and bigger groups in general, just like how do you share your wins and but also share your losses so they're not repeated, and that's what community is all about, right? And I know that those of you who have been more successful than I in publishing any of these wins and lessons learned, I'm still kind of figuring out how to tabulate things. Like you said, you're still weighing your stuff yourself and trying to read between the lines and get some objective data in order to share those wins and stuff. But there's also probably more creative ways to share ideas. So. Um, but I have definitely not thought at all about podcasts or different, everything you mentioned. I was like, tech, oh man, I wish I was younger and more techie because these things are not out of my wheelhouse, but the idea generator is going. So I'll let you know if I think of anything for sure.
well, you got a lot of, I'm not gonna say old, but older people learning new tricks because I've never been a podcaster myself. But yeah, I think it's just, finding ways to get the message out if you think it's important.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'm sort of thinking with this Trex thing, like Ramin's doing it, but I think he was having problems with volume. And I'm thinking like we've got um Stony Brook, we've got Mount Sinai, we've got North Wells, like all these like I could also bring in, I don't know, like maybe Valley. But anyways, it's like and then Meredith, you're up in Maine. I don't know. Just thinking,
Yeah.
like if we needed like a group of people who are interested to like kind of compile things and generate volume, have four.
Yeah, no, and how like to compare notes about how things work when you start doing it too. Like yeah, it's just like I said, so it's scaling things from one either department to another or one CSP to another is what sort of my group is working on even now.
Mhm.
So then to go from one place to another is, but yeah, I would love to talk to Ramin about Trex for sure.
Yeah,
And then yeah, figuring out the words to communicate that with others as yeah, something I'm looking to pick up and get better at.
yeah. Was it Trex? I can't remember exactly what the company was called. Okay. Well, anyways, I'm scrolling back through my notes. Okay. Morgan, what about you? What was your research in? Was it anything related to
No, it
sustainability?
was in pediatric solid tumors, so a little bit away from that. But this has always been an area of interest of mine, and I was particularly impacted by a talk they gave at AAP. I think it was last year about OR sustainability, and so it really got me interested in this and led to me
No.
applying to the subcommittee.
Was that when or who was it that gave that talk?
It was, I feel like an anesthesiologist who talked about all of the anesthesia part of it, but it was kind of shocking and really, struck a chord. So it got me interested.
Okay. Well, we need to get Morgan involved, though, going back to clinical,
Just happy to
bandwidth is,
help in any way I can.
yeah, yeah. Morgan's definitely a hard worker, though. I worked with her, like I said, on turning around that article of interest, and boy, you work fast.
You're kind to say that. Y'all's feedback was great, so made it easy.
All right. Ken, Richard, anyone? You guys have any thoughts about? Oh, Grace. Grace is on too. Where you at, Grace?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, sorry. Yes.
And Grace, we had a couple of new people here, so do you mind just introducing yourself?
Hi, yes. I'm Grace Nixa. Nice to meet you all. Um, I don't have any current sustainability projects going on, but would love to help with anything. Um, we
You've
had
helped
a
us a
nice
lot with
paper
our.
in,
We had a great
okay,
publication that you
in
led.
seminars. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was awesome.
Yeah. And I think I don't know. What else are you guys talking about?
We had a couple of things. We were talking about follow-up from APSA 2026, and we talked about the manuscript that
Okay.
the site selection rubric. I know it's been floating around.
Yep.
We got to get this done. Talked about podcasts. Great. Are you interested in podcasts?
Well, and there's one coming up. So did did you guys discuss about like topic or like the topic within the topic of sustainability, maybe?
We haven't, but we're meeting on Monday. Colleen and I are meeting on Monday. Interested
Okay.
in joining?
Sure. Well, one of my thoughts was like, you guys are great experts yourselves. So, I mean, if you wanted, one of us to host you guys as an expert, I think that I wouldn't be shy about that for you or Colleen.
I appreciate that. I definitely don't pretend to be an expert, just very interested and passionate about it. Um, but so Ken had suggested also Mahul and Win, who are definitely
Yes.
fantastic um, considerations. It's just that for this first round, um, I think the committee is kind of feeling the wanting to host people who are not surgeons. So we do have like three people we're talking about that Colleen had suggested. None of them are
Okay.
surgeons. One's like a pediatrician. Another one is like I want to say occupational health. Two of them
Okay.
pediatricians and one I think is occupational
Yeah.
health. They're all MDs, but they're anyways,
Okay.
but maybe when, this is going to be an ongoing thing. So when it comes back around to sustainability to submit a podcast, then I think that would be great idea.
I think it could be fun too to have surgeons who have implemented stuff in their hospital. So having experienced this, having more than one speaker, sometimes it can be challenging, but it could have 5 or 6 people, and that might actually be a really fascinating podcast to just kind of, you know, different people giving a 3 minute, 5 minute version of successful stories.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think
So
that's always something that's helpful to listen to and see how people struggle through. Because when you try
yeah,
to do it yourself, you're like, oh my gosh, this
yeah.
possibly get off the ground.
Um,
Um, yeah.
Linda, can you hear me okay? I have a question. It's Joanne.
Yeah, Joanne, I can hear you now. Sorry if I missed you before.
Okay. Um, yeah, no, I appreciate what you and Grace are talking about. And one thing I would love to know more from you and would like to hear on a podcast are like going back to this idea of greening the operating room, like if we could learn, like, what are the top 3 things that we could do that are most feasible to do, sort of the most bang for your buck within our OR. And then I was wondering about a project where could you guys make like a flyer proposal or something that we could take to our administration and talk about, like with talking points, where we could talk about how if we do these 3 things, it improves the environment in this and this and this way. Maybe it also improves like the occupational health of our employees, and it also saves money, something like that, like something to help us translate from the theory of all of our publications to our actual daily life practice. Um, that was one thing um, that I would appreciate getting from the sustainability group.
Yeah. I mean, if that's a topic that people find interesting, Lynn would be a fantastic authority for that. Because not only has she worked really closely with Mahul, I think, and seen firsthand the challenges of bringing about a project, she created this toolkit. In the first year that we were here, it was like, I think it was one of the projects she was working on, but
Mhm.
um, worked on a toolkit and created one. And part of the toolkit, like the first part of the toolkit, that I thought was really, I mean, the first part of the toolkit, I think, is actually like, what is your team? But there is a section in it where it basically has like low hanging fruit, middle, and like really challenging things with like the payoff that you can get from it. And that sort of like matrix in the way to think about, which sort of project is the best for your for how like ambitious or advanced your institution is ready to grab on. Like Meredith, if you, I don't know if you've seen this toolkit that she created, but it's really helpful. She has also like estimates on like cost savings because everything comes down to dollars there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is that
I
on the
think that would be.
APSA? Is that on the APSA website somewhere? Like in one of the toolkit
Yeah, we
sections?
have it
Do
in
you know?
multiple. Yeah, we have it in multiple places at this point. When they had it in that Google Docs setup with the folders, we had it in that folder. And then when we had it in the Unbound Medicine sort of website setup, we had it on that.
Uh-huh.
So it's in multiple
Okay.
places, but I think the Google Docs one died. I think they closed it. I think they closed that toolkit because
Uh-huh.
it was being run by quality and safety, and I think they killed our folder when I looked on there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were like
Well, that
consolidating
sounds like
all their
exactly
multiple,
what
multiple
I'm,
folders. So,
uh-huh. That
yeah.
sounds exactly like what I'm looking for. I just need to find that toolkit.
Oh, I can send that to you. Want me to send that to you? So you
Yeah,
can
that
send.
would be great, Linda.
Okay.
And Grace and I are working together so we could look at it even together.
Yeah.
Oh, who is working
Well,
together with you? Sorry, I missed that. Missed what she said.
yes, we're working together.
Oh,
So while Joanne was talking, the one thing that kind of crossed my mind, I don't know if this would actually be just kind of one of the many topics, is the smoke from cautery. And
Mm.
it's fascinating. When I moved here to New York, I was told that, and I'm sure everyone from New York will tell me this, it's been like this for a while. It's like it's against the law to have smoke, right? And you have to use these cumbersome smoke evacuators, which quite honestly don't work very well, and they just are cumbersome and
yes.
kind of forced to use it. But it is pollution. It does cause cancer, probably. And I mean, it's interesting that we have, like, I wonder what the costs are of using these pieces of equipment
Mm.
because they drive me nuts, honestly.
There's a lot of extra plastic involved.
Yeah.
So,
I've always wondered
Yeah.
about that too.
yeah. I mean, even if they're repurposing some of that, it's a phenomenal cost, I'm sure, and difference.
Yep, tons of tubing.
Yep.
Tons of tubing and also like I don't know about you, but like out of the four surgeons, I think probably three of us throw it away.
You would not be the only
Sure.
person.
So
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking. It's also tons of variability, which like hospitals hate and cost, and so yeah, knowing whether they actually are worth it would be very valuable for a lot of reasons. Uh,
I love it when they pull it out for laparoscopic cases too. It's just so useful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what would be the cost of that suction tubing? The cost never reflects also the disposal,
No.
um,
Yeah.
or the cost of recycling if you can get that far. But the what would be the alternative if we feel like, okay, well, air pollution from the cautery is an issue. Like, I mean, I used to just use the regular suction.
that yeah,
I
maybe.
think that's it.
Yeah, we could go back to that, or like just like more focused ventilation, I guess, in a particular location without like re more complete turnovers for the OR, which would be kind of the opposite of a lot of initiatives.
Yeah, increasing the HVAC. I mean, but the increase the adjusting your HVAC is often just kind of around the off use time, like
Right.
overnight and on
Hmm.
the weekends or stuff like that. Not necessarily when the OR is actively being used.
Right. Well, and I think changing anything with HVAC is like moving a battleship. So it's much more challenging than changing, buying or recycling, repurposing, or like processes, which I think also are challenging but easier to do.
Yeah.
Oh, there's good papers out there that show you can reduce the cycling in HVAC and still minimize infection rates and save
Yes.
costs, which everyone wants to do, save costs, which I'm surprised people haven't done because it does cut off your electric bill and not off,
Yeah.
reduces your electric bill.
Yeah.
Well, and Mahula was talking about that pretty like when we were writing our paper, and that the amount of paperwork and changes to do that, that's what's the hardest. But you make a really valid point.
So yeah, it depends a lot on where you work. So I work at Maine Medical Center Portland, which is like just this one little hospital in this one little state, but we're within this big system and we own basically everything else in the state. And so um, trying to do the HVAC turnovers in our like the ORs that I work in, it's a non-starter. But we just did all the HVACs in Biddeford, in Sanford, in the new ortho ASU they're building, in like basically in all the other place procedural spaces around that you can change over. Those ones can be done a lot easier. And so sometimes in terms of low-hanging fruit, sometimes like going for those other spaces can be a good way to break the ice kind of.
Yeah.
So you guys are talking about the tubing associated with the smokeless bovie,
Okay.
correct?
Yep.
Smokeless.
And the reason that came into being for us a few years ago is because people talked about the toxicity of and the pollution of the smoke from the bovie.
Mhm.
And they tell me it's a law.
Say it again.
Oh,
I hear it's a law in New York. I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked this up, but
So when we did that and changed, first of all, as you know, the bovie becomes more cumbersome,
yeah.
and you kind of get used to it and pick the one that you like the best, whatever. Are used to it now. Um, but we got like an award, literally. We're smokeless. You know, I so my question is,
hmm.
are those important for providers, health, the surgeons in the environment and nurses, et cetera's health, or are they not? Had there been research studies about the toxicity of that smoke?
And from what I understand it, they sampled it and they tested it, all the different chemicals in there. I don't know if they've done a cause and effect though, but they've demonstrated toxic substances in the smoke. But whether they've actually demonstrated it causing sickness or cancer or whatever, I don't know if they've actually proved it or not.
And you know what it is that when you use a bovie for a 12-minute case and there's like one puff of smoke that you can't see versus a liver transplant where you're using the smoke is just like pouring out of the room, you're using the same tip. Like, do we really need it for the tiny cases? Because for us, it's every single case. You could literally do a tongue tie on a 4-year-old. You'll
Yep.
have a smoke evac on
Yep.
your little bovie thing, which is crazy. Because it's always like all or none. There's no thought associated with like what we do. Like they open up like so much plastic for like a teeny weeny case, the same as if you're doing a 4-hour big case. It's just so odd. Because I guess that's part of the efficiency of the operating room, right? Just boom, 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 same, same, same. But I do wonder about that smokeless tubing because it was all the rage when they did it. They were so excited about it and they thought they've done such a great thing. But now you guys are saying because of the pollution, the plastic pollution, which is a lot, maybe it's not such a great thing.
Yeah. I feel like COVID also had a role in pushing it. At least that was the way it seemed like in Texas, because they were saying that the virus or something were being aerosolized. and you need like a certain amount of filtration to like capture it.
There was one system, I can't remember off the top of my head. There was one system that promoted themselves as filtering out COVID for laparoscopic cases. And I just can't remember which company it was. Doesn't really matter, but that was how they they sold themselves.
Was
Um,
it Buffalo? Good. That's what I feel like
oh,
we got.
no, it was a laparoscopic setup.
Oh,
Anyways, it doesn't really matter, but they talked about the size of the microns that, of particles they filtered out and how their system filtered it out, which is great, but their system sucked, so to speak.
It sucked at sucking.
Yep. It sucked at sucking. It was terrible.
there's another project going around. I don't know, Meredith, if you want to think about this one and maybe get in contact with, I think was it Gander was doing it? Um, but they were talking about the bear hugger. I
Mm.
think specifically the underbody bear hugger being open for like pretty much every case and whether it was really needed for normothermia. And if there was like another way that you could maintain normothermia by like keeping the patient covered, warming the room, and and using the like, the French fry light, lack
Hmm.
of a better word, warmers instead. And
Yeah. Totally. That's like to Richard's point. You don't need to necessarily open the same equipment you open for the liver transplant as you do the toenail.
yeah,
Uh, but everything's been so protocolized, and the nurses are scared to have to walk down the hall once more and the whole thing. So, but yeah, that's a fantastic point. I mean, that's a whole big chunk of garbage that just goes from the package to the table, basically right into the trash.
yeah. Nothing pisses me off more than when you have an underbody plus the upper body. I'm like, guys, it's enough.
I
Uh,
also thought there was a paper that stated that the bear huggers increased wound infection rates.
yeah, I think that was part of the s- uh part of the justification for this study. They brought it up at the gosh, why are these words just like escaping my mind? I'm trying to remember who it was that submitted it. Um, but we talked about it and we were evaluating it. I don't know, Meredith, if it's something that you're interested in, I can get you guys connected. I think he's looking for like you're saying, like pilot projects and stuff. I think he's maybe looking for places that might be interested in
Cool.
um,
Yeah.
protocol change.
Yeah, I like definitely. I have the sort of benefit of being a small, well, some of you also work in pediatric hospitals within an adult hospital, so you get, some of the pains that come with that, but also some of the benefits that come with that too. And but yeah, definitely where because I'm like the surgeon on the steering committee, I can basically pick little things and say just puppeteer him. So in terms of pilot projects, definitely um, something we would be interested in biting off at this point.
Like I said Gander, but I don't think it was Gander. I think it might have been Bader who was um, doing this. Why can I not remember? You come back from a vacation and you just like can't remember anything anymore.
Oh yeah. Or
Um,
a week of nights, which happens
right.
every month, so I can't really make excuses every month, but totally
Yeah.
understand the feeling.
He discussed it at the Peds SRC, but it was maybe like a month ago. I'm trying to look through our minutes here. No, sorry. I don't want to waste your time, everyone's time. I can send it to you if I like run across it. If
Cool.
that's something you're interested in. Okay. So we talked about Project Green Health, connecting you with Ramin about the Trex
Mm.
smoke evacuator and
Bear
and
hugger.
the bear hugger, yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's it, guys. Lovely to meet you all and see new people. I'm gonna end it here, okay? I'm gonna stop the record.